everyone, this is Debbie from Project 39 Mini Albums, and this is my new Graphic 45 Flight of Fancy mini album. I am going to do a walkthrough here, and then in a separate video there will be a tutorial that shows you the process from beginning to end. This is a design team project for Country Craft Creations. This is where I obtained the materials that I used. So go ahead and check out Country Craft Creations. This is a large mini album, but honestly, I really don't think it's that difficult. I know what the measurements, it's 8.5 by 9.5. This is a 2.5-inch spine. It has 4 signatures in it. I did the tutorial sort of a la carte kind of thing where I'm also going to do other mini albums just using two of the signatures, two of the page groupings to make different tutorials. So if you don't feel like being committed to such a long project, although it didn't take that long, you can make 2 mini albums. I used the 12 by 12 collection. Again, I received this from Country Craft Creations. They have an online store in Utah. I was there in Utah a couple of weeks ago for a in-person retreat. They also do virtual retreats, so if it's something you're curious about, they'll have information on the website. You should do it. You should do it. Even if you have not done mini albums before, maybe you're a scrapbooker and do 12 by 12 pages, or you do cards, or if you've never done paper crafting. Anyhow, so I use the 12 by 12 collection. I use the 12 by 12 patterns and solids. Oops, sorry, that's shiny. I use the 8 by 8 collection. I use the ephemera and the frames and tags. I also use the rub-ons. I'm loving the rub-ons. Now, you'll see how I use the rub-ons as we go. Here's the cover. Now you can see these are some of the chipboard frames and tags. Oh, I also got some flowers that were available at Country Craft Creations. I think they were little birdie flowers. I will list that in the description. So when you get the paper, you can get the flowers. They are fabulous. I did add a little bit of distress ink. I'm trying to find the exact color in broken china to these were a little more of a more green than blue, and I wanted it to match the blue in the collection, so I did actually change the flowers a little. um but I'll tell you about that in the video. I did do photos of me doing the cover, and I'll explain how I did it, but sometimes the decorating is on you. But I did do step-by-step photos, so if you wanted to decorate the cover exactly like this, you could do that. Anyhow, let me take you inside and show you the mini album. So the inside front cover is a waterfall. I was trying to utilize the space and allow you to get as many photos in this book as possible. Most of the photos, I'd say 90%, are for 4x6. This is a magnetic closure here that'll just flip open like that. And then I just covered the edge of this because if you put a photo here, you'll still have some of this showing. But I wanted to make it so it wasn't so fat and chunky. And then once you put the photos, it would be doubly fat. So there's spots here for 12 photos. You could even put a picture here if you wanted to, although I would probably leave those adorable hummingbirds just the way they were. So anyhow, that is the front inside cover. Here is page 1. And again, you can mix and match the pages if you just wanted to do 2-page. One of the pages in the Graphic 45 12 by 12 collection had 4 of these on one page. So I thought that would be a great element to put. Now this does have a magnet in it, so just to keep it a little more intact. So this will open like that. And I'm going to sort of breeze through here. I'm not going to say, oh, this was from the rub-ons. I'm going to breeze through it, and when I go through talking about decorating, I'll go into a little more depth about it. But this is just, and it's throughout the book, a 4¼ by 6¼ white photo mat. So you could put your 4x6 photo and still have a little bit of a border on there. When you make the book for yourself, you might not want that. You could just put the photo right in the book without a photo mat. Try it and see how you like it once you make the book. Now, you could put pictures on here. I did leave some areas blank where you could put photos. But there is room to put, I mean, you could put a couple of 3x4, 4x4. This is just about 4 inches tall, so you'd have room for a 4x6 photo. All right, I zoomed out a little to give you some more room. And then this comes down, and then that gives you a great spot for a portrait style photo. I mixed up portrait and landscape photos because you may have both on your camera. I left a little of this alone just because the birds in the background were so pretty. There is this pretty cut apart here. Try to look for a piece of paper. It is open, so you still can put your photo on there. It'll slip in, and then the bird will still be part of your photo. Now, again, this is a 4 signature album, and there are 4 photo mats. These are quite large, so you could put your 4x6 photo. You even could put a 5x7 photo on these photo mats. I don't know that I'll take them all out. Sometimes I forget about them. But anyhow, there's photo mats. I tried to coordinate the pages real well. I think this can show how I did it. It's a really pretty coral color. This is the backside of one of the journaling cards. Real pretty, just real pretty. I thought that would be a nice spot to document what this album's about. You might want to say wedding book, March 5th, 2024 in Las Vegas or whatever, just room to jot that down. And then there is room here to put 2 4x6 photos. Yes, that is some of the rub-ons. So I did put rub-ons on the photo mats. And some people in the past when I've done that say, well, why would you do that? You're going to cover it up. If you're giving this as a gift, it just makes it a little prettier. And the rub-ons were so much fun, I sort of got carried away. So there's that too. This is down with a magnet. And then here, this is another one of the cut aparts that come in that ephemera collection. And so this will open like that. Now you could journal on here or put some small photos. And then it also opens like this. So again, an example of where there's a 4x6 spot for a photo, and this is for a 4x4 photo. Now you might have a 4x6 photo that you can cut down, or you might have them developed that way. This again is open. So there's that, and then this also opens like this to give you more room to put your pictures or memorabilia or whatever you add into your photo albums. All right, and this is a gusseted pocket. I wanted to have room to put a bunch of smaller photos or napkins or whatever you save. So this is open to put in photos. I didn't put anything in there. I suppose I should, but just real pretty paper. I am not a fan of orange, but don't you think this comes out pretty nice? It's not so overpowering because we mix the patterns with the solids and some of the other paper, and I think that's what makes it shine. This was a row of stamps that it's popped up. I know you can't see that in here, but it's just a nice space filler, and it helps tone down some of the color. This is one of the frames. I just put a little piece of, it was from the border strip. I just cut it. It was like a 3 by 1.5 inch cut apart, and I just cut it down and added it inside that little chipboard frame. All right, so this will go like this. So you could journal on here if you wanted to, just take a piece of white paper and write whatever you want and attach it to that. or don't. I mean, just leave it the way you want. And again, these are open, so you could put your photos alongside there. I did do a lot of these pages where it's not just the pattern paper. I tried to utilize as much of my paper as possible. I mean, normally you would just add your photos on top of the paper, but this way you can still see a lot of the paper. We're not covering it all up because it's pretty. And then here we go into this fluttering by to say hello. This is a little smaller. This is exactly 4 inches, so you'd have to cut down a 4x6 photo. And yes, I put the rub-ons on these pages, but that's all right. You know, I don't know about you, but when I take photos, you look at it and you see a lot of the sky, or if you're taking a picture in a house, a lot of the wall and ceiling. So cutting a 1/2 inch off of a photo would not be the worst thing in the world. If you wanted to, you could even put a photo on top of here. Not saying you would want to, but you could. So this page comes down, giving you room to put your smaller picture, but you could put a 4x6 photo here. There is room for one up here, and then here. That is a cut apart, so that's open. And then this comes up one more time. A larger butterfly, room to put your picture there and here. And then there is our hidden photo mat. It's there. This had zinnias in it, and I just thought they were so pretty. So I tried to have a page of just the zinnias. The artist for Graphic 45 did a phenomenal job. I'm loving the watercolory feel to this. So this opens like that. More of the rub-ons and room to put your 4x6 photo. Or alternatively, if you didn't want to cover these up, you could cut your photos down. Or you could use this one to journal on and have a smaller photo there. Whatever you want to do. On this page, we have a little folder, and that gives you room to put your photos. You could add a picture to the back if you wanted to. You could cover this up. If you make this for yourself, it's going to be your book. And this is that little card that I was talking about. In the 8x8 paper, I cut it down, and one had the birds on it, but this just slips in here, and it gives you room to put a little photo or a ticket stub or whatever you want to do on the back there. I did something with this book I don't normally do. I added some of the pattern paper in the gusset. These were wider than normal gussets because I wanted to make sure there was room for all of the different features. So instead of a 3/8 of an inch, this is 5/8 of an inch gusset. I sort of liked having that extra room because I could use the chipboard on here and not worry about it. But it left a big expanse of the uh, paper, so I just covered it with some scraps of paper. So this is still the front of the fourth signature. This is from the border strip. Doesn't that make a nice bottom of a flap? Of course, once you round it, it adds oomph. These were some brads that are in Country Craft Creations. I need to make a note to remember brads to add that. These are actually Doodlebug. Um, so anyhow, this opens like this, and then this will come down, revealing room for 4x4 photos. You could journal here, put a piece of paper journal, and then a 4x6 photo. So that will close like that. I did not have a little charm, but I'm pretty sure Country Craft Creations has a little butterfly charm. Wouldn't that be cute tied onto the end of this? I was looking to see if I had it. I'm just going to tie a little knot on the end of there just because I like to. All right, so this feature This is one of the cut aparts in the ephemera, the row of zinnias. Again, I love those zinnias. So I put this 3x4 cut apart and then the purple on the back, and that just holds everything closed. But then this will open and come up, and that actually will give you room to put a photo. You can just tuck something in there. It's a smaller photo because this is just a little bit smaller than 4x6. And then this has some cut aparts in here. See, that's the one side of the cut apart, and that's the other. Aren't they beautiful? I just think they're so pretty. So anyhow, those are in there to give you room to journal. And then this will come down. You could put a photo there. And of course, you could put a photo here because that is open. Now, I don't do all of the decorating, but I will go over the details of it later on at the end of my tutorial. It may end up being a second video. All right, this opens like that. Inside is another little folder. It uses those cut aparts that were 4 to a page. I just took something, put it on top. So it's an unusual size because it's square. You could put a square photo here, or you could just cut down a 4x6 and put it there. And room on the back as well. As well, you can put things in this pocket. If you have a bunch of photos left over, stick them in this pocket. That is a magnetic closure. And then this brings us to the inside back cover. This was one of the ephemera pieces, and that's a magnetic closure. Oops. So again, see how nicely this goes together. I trimmed it a little smaller this time, but it still gives you, I need to erase that, gives you room to put several photos. And then here is that stamps again, those stamps. Here's the back cover. I just, this was one page, and then there's the solids, looks sort of like a ribbon, and then that's one of the chipboard elements. Oops, I know that doesn't show that great, but you can see it. And here we are back to the cover. And again, everything I used came from countrycraftcreations.com. I also will let you know I used Artisan linen cardstock. If you've not tried that, you really need to. Do I have a piece here? I do. It is, I don't know if you can see the texture to it. It's an 87-pound weight cardstock. It made putting this album together, it cuts, scores, folds like butter. I used both 12 by 12 and 8.5 by 11. There were some pages that were like 8 inches by 7. It made more sense for me to use the 8.5 by 11. I didn't have as much waste, but I used a lot of the 12 by 12. So if you're doing this for the first time, treat yourself to using that really good cardstock. It will make your project even that much better. There also is chipboard, there's adhesives, there's everything you need at Country Craft Creations to make this mini album. And again, I'll link all of it. I hope I don't forget anything, but everything I use, I'm usually pretty good about that, will be in the description box. So I hope you enjoyed this. Stay tuned for the tutorial. If it is ready, it will be listed in the description box. If it is not ready, just give it a couple of days because I wanted to hurry up and get this out so you can go ahead and order your supplies, get it in, and be ready for when the tutorial is here. Thank you so much for watching. Have a fabulous day.